Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. We have a great episode today that we're going to be bringing a really interesting topic. We've got some great guests, so hang in there. This is going to be a good one. Trust me. All right, again, thank you for joining me. This is going to be great. First guest today is going to be the West Virginia Secondary Schools Activity Commissioner, Executive Director. And that's a mouthful, but the guy's been on the job since July of this year. It's David Price. We're going to bring him. He's live from the West Virginia State Soccer Tournament in Beckley. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm kind of hiding out in the woods a little bit from the state tournament here. We have a couple-hour break, so stepped out away from all the activity just to get away a while.
I appreciate it. I know you're a busy man. And, you know, the reason why I wanted you on today is because last week I've got this email from the WVSSAC that you guys have a new initiative, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about it. The press release said 5 tips for creating a culture of caring in our high schools. And I found it very fascinating. It has to do with being more aware of mental health of high schoolers and middle schoolers. So why is this of importance to you?
Well, you know, having a middle school background, especially, you know, the social emotional part is so big and always has been. And I think it's something that's been ignored for many, many years. And, you know, as a teenager transitioning from adolescence into adulthood, so much pressure, so many decisions to make. And I think in today's world with social media and everything, there's a lot more pressure on teenagers than has ever been before. And I think sometimes we forget about that. We have to become more aware of it and make sure we're serving them. That doesn't mean give them excuses. It means give them support to help them deal with the decision-making process of the challenges that they're going to experience every day.
Right. Now, the WVSSAC is a governing body in the state for activities in middle schools and high schools. So have you received some feedback that this is a necessary initiative?
Well, you know, I think that we've kind of recognized this over the years. You know, with my background for 40 years in education and serving in all areas, you know, it's been something that I think's been needed, and something through all of my stops, we've had a focus on it and making sure we're taking care of the whole student, if you will, and, you know, addressing their needs both academically and socially and emotionally.
Now, this is also an initiative of the National Federation of High School Sports, correct?
It is. And, you know, I'm glad that they see it as a priority as well. And, you know, there's some great resources out there that we'll be tapping into to make sure we provide to our schools and so that they can support our students.
David Price, the West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commissioner, Executive Director, been on the job for a couple of months in that position. So is this one of the challenges that you chose to take on early on in your first year?
Oh, without question. Yeah, it's something that I know we need to address. And one of our goals, you know, is to make sure that we're supporting the whole student.
Yeah. Now, to me, student athletes in high school and college, these are the people that have learned discipline and they've learned coping mechanisms, oftentimes through sports. So I guess you would be in agreement that the student athletes have mechanisms in place, but they also need the support as well.
Well, there's no question about it. You know, like I said, there's a lot more pressure out there, expectations and everything that exists right now with what they do. And, you know, I want to say something about what they learn and what sports actually provide. And you are correct. It provides an avenue to develop those skills of dealing with pressure, understanding, you know, what it's like to be in the arena with all eyes on you. And when everything doesn't go so good, how do you handle that? What do you do? How do you respond? And I think a lot of times too, it not only does it help develop that character and those skills, but it also is a place where it's demonstrated. And I think that, you know, when all eyes are on you, you have to understand you choose to be there. And with all eyes on you, you have an expectation and a role that you carry with you, being that representative and leader of your school.
Yeah. Now, every year, you know, you guys host the state championships and all these sports. And, there's only one winning team. And many times, and I've been at these games, there's a team suffering great disappointment and maybe even often crying at the end of these games because there is just so much pressure on these kids to succeed.
Well, and that's always been when you compete, when you choose to compete. We were talking the other day in the office. Football's a little different than the rest of the sports when you get down to it, because football season, if you don't make the playoffs, you can still win that last game and go into the regular season or off season with a win under your belt. That's kind of sets the tone for the rest of the year for you in off season. But when you make the playoffs and you're in the tournament, there's only one team going to finish with a win. And with everything else, when you get into basketball, softball, soccer, everything, where there's sectional and regionals, there's only one team at the end in each classification that ends the season with a win. Everybody else finishes on a loss. And, hard work sometimes, you can work hard, commit, dedicate, and still come up a little short when it comes to competitiveness. I mean, we watch our pros do it every day. And, it's one of those lessons you learn that sometimes that's the way it's going to work out, but you just have to rebound. I remember hearing the saying a long time ago, it's not a sin to get knocked down, it's a sin to stay down. So you got to pick yourself up and keep going.
Well, David Price, Executive Director of the WVSSAC, appreciate you joining me. In the coming weeks and the months, what is the SSAC planning on doing to make this initiative more publicly known? I know this is the hashtag on social media is going to be "We See You," which is very important to the student athletes. But the coaches, the parents, they can also benefit from this.
Absolutely, and they have to become aware as well, the pressures that are on their kid. And again, not to give them excuses or an easy way out, but help them cope and help them understand that there are disappointments in life, but it's how you deal with it and find that silver lining in it and keep moving and learn from it, and how you handle those pressures. And we're all different when it comes to that stuff, and we have to make sure our parents and coaches, administrators, everyone's aware of it. And so you'll be hearing more about it, and we'll be getting all the information out to our schools and seeing our campaigns as well.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Price. Enjoy that soccer tournament. And we'll see you at the football championships and the volleyball championships this fall, and all the winter and spring sports as well.
Soccer right now, volleyball and football, and then cheer, and then we get into winter. You're right. So listen, always a pleasure. Thank you, and you guys have a great one.
Thank you, sir. All right. David Price, Executive Director of the West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commission. You can go to their website, WVSSAC.org, and I'm sure you can do a search, and more information will be available. Also, I would recommend following their social media channels on X, which was Twitter, and some of the other ones, they're on Facebook as well. So just follow this initiative. So next up, I have just a remarkable young lady from Nitro High School, a student athlete. Kyndall Perry is her name. I had a chance to talk to her and record an interview with her. And she is primarily a swimmer, but she's also been a soccer player, and she's been involved in track and field at Nitro. So let's hear from Kyndall Perry. All right, Kyndall Perry, Nitro High School student athlete. Appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great. Tell me about the initiative that the West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commission is introducing.
So I think it's a great initiative. A lot of teenagers, we look like we have it all together, straight A kids, excelling in sports and whatnot. We all look like we have it together, but our lives are completely influenced by social media. We only see the best of people, which I personally think has a lot of impact on mental health. I think it creates a false perception of what we need to be, and I think that can really lead to some serious mental health issues. And I think that their initiative is great. I think making adults more aware of how we see life and how we go through life is a great initiative to help adults understand what we go through and understand how to be there for us, and how even just a simple "how's your day going" can really affect someone. So I think it's a great initiative. I think they're doing a great job.
What was your first thought when you saw it, that somebody was taking that initiative?
It honestly kind of surprised me, just because a lot of adults don't understand. Like I said, it looks like we have it all together. I know personally that's how a lot of people view me, and I have it all together and my life is perfect and whatnot. But I think that somebody taking this initiative and realizing what teenagers go through is just it's awesome, really.
All right, that was Kyndall Perry's initial part of the interview that she did with me, but she had indicated that she had some things that she wanted to share even more personally, which I think is just fascinating. So here's Kyndall Perry again from Nitro High School. Well, you wanted to share something personal in this regard.
So, I mean, I've been through 2 knee surgeries, which obviously took a big toll on my mental health. A lot of my friends even didn't really know how to be there for me because they don't, if you haven't been through it, you don't really understand it. And even adults more so, obviously I knew how to be there a little bit more, but having a support system wasn't really eminent for me. And recently I found out I have to have a heart surgery, which, really, really took a toll on my mental health. And I've found my faith through God, obviously, but I know for mental health, like I said, my friends don't necessarily know how to be there because they've never been through it. And I'm going to have to take some time off of sports, which sports is a big part of my life. It keeps my mental health sane, honestly. Sports are how I cope with things, but obviously, I've had to talk to all of my coaches. I've had to let my teachers know I'm going to miss some school, and that has really taken a toll on my mental health. And I think with this new initiative, for me personally, I think it's a great step in knowing how to be there for your friends, adults knowing how to be there for students, teachers knowing how to care for students that are having to miss school for mental health days, coaches being aware of these type of things. I think it's a great initiative, great step.
So you're a soccer player and also a swimmer at Nitro. Tell me about those sports for you.
So soccer definitely is different than swim. Swim is my main priority. I focus on it. I swim almost every day. I'm at swim at least 5 days a week out of the 7. It's been my priority for most of my high school career, and I've started swimming club now. So, that's where my focus has been for college and all that. And swim is definitely one of those sports where, it's mentally challenging. If you don't see your progress report coming out, it's super easy to slip back into a mental capacity of not knowing that whether this is the right sport for you. So swim definitely is my main focus, but it's definitely caused me some mental challenges as well. Soccer more so, I had a lot of focus on it freshman and sophomore year before I got hurt. And then senior year, I kind of just let it relax back. And I think that since that pressure was taken off of me, it didn't impact my mental health as much. And then track kind of the same way. I've stepped back a little bit where I've been injured and stuff. But if I'm able to, I'd like to run this year again. But there again, it doesn't affect my mental health as much just because I don't put as much focus on it. But swim, I absolutely put a lot of pressure on myself, and that definitely has taken a toll on mental capacity there.
Sounds like you're a year-round athlete.
Yes.
Because soccer's in the fall,
yes.
Swim winter, track
Yep.
in the spring.
Yep.
So there's
never stops.
Never
and then I swim again in the summer for summer league. So I'm all year round.
So you mentioned that you'd already had a couple of knee surgeries.
Yes.
Tell me how that was for you.
Awful, really, truly. Like, I don't normally open up about that kind of stuff just because on the outside I'm in every club that Nitro has to offer. I'm the leader of FCA. I speak at church. It seems like I have my life together. But my first knee surgery, truly, my surgeon made a call, and that was his call, obviously, and that brought me to where I am now. So I wouldn't take it back, but the call necessarily wasn't my choice of action. So after my first surgery, I did not have a good recovery. I was in physical therapy 3 times a week. I was missing school because I was so sick all the time because of the pain. It was not a good recovery experience. And because of that, I busted my internal stitches back open and had to have a second surgery. Same thing. I had to miss half my summer for both my surgeries. I was out of school with the first one for almost a month and the second one for a couple weeks. Being on crutches in high school is quite a different story. There's 400 kids here, so you're pushing and shoving your way around. That's not easy. The recovery experience in itself isn't easy. Going to physical therapy all the time, having to miss out on Halloween activities and summer activities, it took a lot out of my mental health, and having to cope with that was definitely an experience that brought me to be who I am today, for sure.
Is it something that, having gone through it, that you're able to help your peers?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I think with my knee surgeries, though it's given me experience what it's like to have a surgery and be out of sports and, really just take a toll on every aspect of my life, I think it's also given me the initiative to be a leader because of that. Because now I have a new sense of empathy going through any type of surgery or mental health. I think because I've been through it, I now have a new sense of how to be there for other people.
Mm-hmm. So you spent your entire high school career either being injured or rehabbing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. My freshman year, I got a concussion in 2020. I was out for 4 months of sports. I had a knee surgery in 21, and then I had a knee surgery again in 22, and now I'm having a heart surgery in 24. Yep.
You feel like you've had to mature?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because of that, And I'm not one to point out other people's opinions of me, because I know what I'm doing, and I stay focused in my rehab and my recovery and my playing sports. I'm laser focused on me, because I know what I'm capable of, and I try not to let anyone's opinions of that bother me. But I've gone through that. I've dislocated my knee 4 times through the surgeries, before and after, both of them. So I've gone through people saying like, oh, she's milking it, whatever, and that's made me mature a lot as a person, because I've had to realize that no one else's opinions of me matters. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I know is best for me, and I've really had to stay focused on that for sure.
Well, it sounds like you really had to rely on yourself.
Absolutely.
And your faith.
Absolutely.
But with an initiative that they're talking about, hopefully there'll be support
Yes,
for people like you
yes.
in the future.
That's absolutely what I'm hoping for. Because of that, teenagers are going to be teenagers, and I've definitely had to take a step back and realize that not everybody's been through what I've been through, and that makes a world of difference. But I'm really hoping with this new initiative that it'll give teenagers and even adults a more perspective of kids like me that have gone through surgeries through mental health, or even just have struggled with mental health throughout life. I'm really hoping that this new initiative gives everyone a new perspective of what that's like.
There have been people that have suffered injuries and sports was never a part of their life again.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty tough.
I do agree. I was actually told that I was never going to play soccer again, and I've been told recently, so that was after my second surgery in 22, they were like, you're never going to play soccer again. And, luckily enough for me, I went through months and months and months of rehab, and I was able to, and I know that's not the case for everyone, but even now with this heart surgery, they were telling me, if you pass out during swimming again, you shouldn't swim anymore. And even knowing that might not be the case for me, I may be able to go through my swim season before the surgery perfectly fine, but, even having that thought in the back of my head that I may not be able to swim anymore is truly just like crushing, because I've spent my whole life putting pressure on myself to be a good athlete, be a good swimmer, and that's really my personality. I've almost made it my personality, like swim. Everybody knows me as the swimmer here. I am a swimmer, and to be able to think that could be taken away from some people, I'm truly grateful that I'm, able to swim and able to have the opportunity that I do.
Does being involved in activities like sports, athletics, does it help you become more disciplined as a student academically?
Yes, absolutely. Especially time management, being at practice, I'm at practice every single day at a certain time, and having to know that, okay, I've got an exam today, so I need to tell my coach I need to get out early, or I need to study before I go to practice, so time management has definitely been something that I've learned throughout sports and school, that you have to manage your time well, and all that. It gives you a new perspective, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're going to come out of this really well, and you could actually be a great spokesperson for this type of an initiative. So we'll be rooting for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Wow. What a representative and what a great spokesperson Kyndall Perry of Nitro High School is for just being aware. And as she said, she's really happy that the WVSSAC is taking this initiative on. So 2 more guests coming up. And I'm telling you what, I'm really excited because one of my personal favorite podcasts out there to watch, and it deals with these topics all the time, is True Vine Talks. So we're going to bring in Linda and Rachel. So what's up, ladies?
Hi, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Yes. So you've been able to be backstage during this episode and listen in to Mr. Price and Kyndall Perry, and just want to get some of your thoughts on this. I know you guys do this every day of the week, and I think it's promising that the SSAC is putting some attention to this. So let's start out with Linda. Linda, what was your thoughts about Mr. Price?
Yeah, just the energy and what he's adding to the community, I think is just so positive for teenagers. And sports really helps mental health. I mean, it releases those endorphins when you're practicing, and when you're with a team, there's that camaraderie. I just love it. I love sports. Yeah.
How about you, Rachel?
As I was listening to Mr. Price and the student guest, like all I kept thinking about was Erickson's stages of development and identity versus role confusion, and how that's what these, middle school and high school students are going through. And sports can become a huge part of their identity. Like that incredible young lady was saying, if she's not able to swim again, like is losing a part of herself. So it's so important for them to be seen as a whole person, by their support system.
Now, do you guys deal with people of Kyndall's age quite a bit?
Yeah, as clients, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that more emphasis needs to be placed on mental health? I would expect that you would say yes, but what would be the reason for it? Linda, we'll go with you first.
Sure. The kids need to know that, it's okay to share vulnerabilities like the young lady did. She did a good job of sharing that. It's all they're seeing is those reels of high performance on social media. So they don't know that she's been through knee surgery. Mental health is important for the kids to, just be comfortable sharing.
Rachel, how do we get the word out to young people that they should be reaching out for some help when they feel like they need it?
I think that there like initiatives like this, and there's been other initiatives on social media and trends even that are beginning to break the stigma around mental health and counseling and seeking support, which is wonderful. So just keep giving kids that message, and let them know it's okay, normalize it.
The hashtag that they chose for this initiative is "We See You." So is that something that is of importance to youth, that they are seen?
Yeah, that's an attachment cue. That's a wonderful campaign, because in emotionally focused therapy, which is what Rachel and I primarily do with clients, is we see you. We know that we care. We're here for you. And a lot of students feel not seen and heard. So love the campaign title. Yeah.
And Rachel, I guess when somebody feels like they're seen, they also feel maybe that they're also heard and cared for.
Absolutely. Having someone really see you and acknowledge, right, even like your fear or what you're struggling with, so powerful, and that can actually help someone learn how to accept and love themselves. Right? If you've got a safe person that's checking in.
Yes. Well, to both of you, it really seems like a student athlete like Kyndall has been really equipped to deal with things, and she gave sports credit for it. But I think to be undergirded by therapy or counseling would be great for any student athlete. What's your thoughts? We'll go with Linda again.
We always defer to each other, so
Right.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. Some correction.
Yes. So the question is, how would combining mental health counseling along with athleticism be helpful to students? Is that the question, Jim?
Yeah, I think what we saw in Kyndall's interview was she is well equipped, probably more so than a lot of kids. I'll call her a kid. She's still a senior in high school, but she did also indicate that there were times that she felt like she could use somebody to help her out mentally. So the importance of maybe just identifying that with yourself and reaching out to somebody. What would be your recommendation to maybe a student athlete or a parent of one that's watching today?
Yeah, certainly validate and normalize having feelings other than happy. So we want to make sure teens feel like it's okay to be disappointed, sad, or angry, and that you can talk to someone, and normalizing that would be helpful.
Rachel, do you have any thoughts on that as
I
well?
do. I think she was a perfect example of like, do
Yeah.
not assume that everyone's doing okay just because they look like they've got it all put together. She kept saying that I look like I've got it together. But, some people can be struggling and their grades aren't necessarily dropping. They're not necessarily shutting down and withdrawing from their friend group or not showing up to practice. Like some people are tough and hard on themselves and they'll just keep pushing through.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I've seen it in covering sports, the community has high expectations for these student athletes. If you're scoring 25 points a game, you're hitting a couple of home runs every game, the community's paying attention to you. And, if you strike out, they're going to be disappointed. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching that documentary with David Beckham on Netflix. Did you watch that, Jim?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, they pretty much tore him down when he didn't make the shot in Madrid. So
Wow.
there was a lot of humiliation with not making that goal. So it really helped me empathize with the athlete. I was like, wow, there's a lot of pressure on them to score. So that's mentally exhausting, I imagine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, leading into this segment, True Vine Talks is one of my favorite podcasts. So I appreciate you joining me. And how do people find True Vine Talks? True Vine Talks. I had it right.
Yeah. So we are on YouTube as well as pretty much any podcast streaming network, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just look us up. You can find the link on our website, truevinewv.com. We'd be grateful for some new listeners, and we appreciate the ones we currently have.
Absolutely. And you guys tackle a whole lot of topics and you've got quite a few episodes already loaded up on your podcast, correct?
Yeah, I think we have 80 or more at this point episodes total. So
that's great. So you can pick a topic and dive right in, right?
Right.
All right, Linda, Rachel, True Vine Talks. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. That's it's been a really good episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you want to be a part of the initiative, contact the WVSSAC, or as I said earlier, check out their social media platforms. Also, if you want more information about True Vine Talks, look them up on any of the podcast platforms and also on their website, truevinewv.com. So thank you for joining me. It's been an awesome episode. We'll see you.